Welcome back, everyone, to another YouTube video. Today, we have part 2 of the mock draft review with @NBA Draft Scouting. If you haven't seen any of his work, it'll all be linked down in the description. Really in-depth, detailed analysis on Instagram and Twitter of draft prospects, and I really highly recommend that you check it out because it's great stuff. But today, we're going to be doing picks 1 through 5 of his most recent mock draft. If you haven't seen the first video, we did picks 6 through 10. So if you're interested, that'll be linked as well. But let's get right into it. Number 5 on this specific mock draft, I don't know where you have him on your big board, but it is Jaylen Green. Obviously uber athletic, super explosive, explodes off 1 or 2 feet. I think he's got 3-level scoring ability. He's just a highlight reel waiting to happen. Tell me what you think about him.
Man, I mean, his athleticism pops right when you first watch him in either the under 19, any of that, under 18. Watch him in a G League highlights, some of that, some of the scrimmages. I mean, his athleticism is elite. He can jump out of the gym, but he's not just a run and jump athlete. He's much more. He's like what I look at like a Zach LaVine. He can score all 3 levels, get buckets. I think he'd be a secondary playmaker too, next to like a primary ball handler. He has shown the ability of flashes of making good decisions with the ball. Sometimes his 3-point shot can be a little inconsistent, a little streaky. Shot selection sometimes a little chaotic, but I mean, he can make those difficult shots. Like, he's capable of making difficult shots. He's capable of finishing around the rim. He's really crafty around his rim with his finishes. I mean, he lacks some strength. I think he'll be able to bulk up like 10 pounds probably. He can add some weight to his frame, I feel like. But just his athleticism and his scoring ability, he's already going to be the best scorer in this year's draft due to his 3-level scoring, his ability. His first step is elite. He might have the best first step in the draft. I haven't really looked at everyone else's first step, but he's explosive, can get to the rim, works well in the pick and roll so far from what I've seen. And it's been really, I can't wait to watch the G League Ignite games. Those come on next week. I'm excited to watch those.
I'm very excited for that as well. I think this is something I noticed. I was lucky enough to see him at Prolific Prep, and one thing I realized was he's learning how to play at different paces. I like it, like you said, off ball screens. He's patient off ball screens. You would a player like that, you would sometimes expect to just full steam ahead,
go. Yeah.
Right, yeah. But he's patient off ball screens. That's something I was very impressed with because early in high school he was not. He was one speed. He was a 1-speed athlete, run and jump. But he's really improved his handle, in my opinion, and his ability to slow down and lull the defense to sleep, and then, like you said, with that quick first step, get to the rim. And one thing he's learning, he's gotten so much better at finishing through contact. But when he was younger, he wasn't good at that. So he was so good at avoiding contact, and I think that's still going to be that. Obviously, it's still going to be there, but he can avoid contact in the air like nobody else. The amount
so much hang time, the
amount of
control.
Exactly, the amount of layups I've seen him just pull off that, I was like, how? That's something that you can't teach it. It's just something you really can't teach. No, and
it's just natural.
It's going to be seen in the NBA a lot. Whether like he's not like, if he gets the opportunity, he's going to dunk on you. But if not, he's going to somehow pull off a crazy layup under you or to the side of you. And I think that's something about him that doesn't get talked about enough, and it just goes along with his explosiveness and hang time.
Oh yeah, I agree. Just I mean, it's insane. He's probably the most athletic player in the draft this year, especially the shooting guard spot. It's not even close. Oh yeah. The only concerns I have, I mean, is sometimes he can be like poor shot selection, can be a little inefficient with inefficiency, and then defensively sometimes he'll lack effort here and there. But that's for most young guys. Those are pretty, like Anthony Edwards was last year. His defensive concerns was there, but I mean, I think defensive concerns, if it's just due to lack of effort, sometimes I think they'll be fine. Right, you just need a good coach and good system like he is in the G League now, which has been great for him.
Right, I agree. Let's move on to number 4. In this specific mock draft, you have Jalen Suggs, one of the smoothest players in the class. He's a floor general. He's physical for the point guard spot. I mean, I would label him more as a combo guard, actually. His court vision is great. He can do a bit of everything, and it's for as fluid as he is, to be able to do a bit of everything at the guard spot, I think is very impressive.
I agree. I mean, man, that first game he played, I can't remember who it was, first game of the season. I mean, Kansas? That was just an eye-opener, mouth-dropper. Like, he was unreal. I did not anticipate what he was doing.
I don't think anybody did.
Like, within the first game, at the end of the first game, I was like, yeah, he's probably a top 5 pick. It was his playmaking ability was something I didn't anticipate to be so good early on. He manipulates the defense so well. Like, he'll look off someone.
I was just about to bring that up.
I mean, it's just unreal. Defensively, he just wants to win, too. I mean, the reason why he's so high, too, is his floor is super high. Like, he just wants to win. And I think in the NBA, like, I just think he's going to win championships. He's going to be on a winning team his most career because he just wants to win. I mean, he's a great perimeter defender. He can play make. He can score. A little streaky from three. He's shown flashes against Iowa this year. He hit like 7 for 10 from three, which was unreal. I don't think he'll be a guy to hit like 7 threes a game, but I still think he'd chip in like anywhere from like a 3 to 4 threes a game, like a mid 30% rate. He's a complete player, honestly. Athletic, just tries nonstop. The scouts love him. And that's the football on him too. I mean,
I was also about to bring that up. Yeah,
some might know he played QB, I believe.
Yeah, I believe he was 3-star coming out of high school.
Yep. He probably could have played both basketball and football if he went to a school like that. I mean, he's just an athlete and he just wants to win. He has that football aggressiveness in him, that football mentality, and he brings it within with basketball. I mean,
he like you said, he likes to win, and I think as good as he fits in the college system, I think he can fit even better in the NBA system just because of his pace. And from high school, he was playing with Chet Holmgren, who they play a lot of up and down game, and I think that's going to benefit him a lot. I have very little negatives about Suggs. The one thing I have is he can be a little bit out of control when driving. He can force himself in, and I think that's just him being so physical. But I don't really have too many knocks on him.
Oh yeah, it's hard. You have to really like. I've really completely nitpicked. I've nitpicked a little bit. I mean, like, he's really complete. It's like Cade Cunningham. They're both really complete prospects. It's hard to find any glaring. There's no glaring weaknesses when you watch them. There really isn't.
Number 3, you've got Jonathan Kaminga. I think he might be the most physically gifted in the class. Unbelievable upside. Very much a project player. Let's get that out of the way right from the get-go. But his upside is just unbelievable. He's got a strong NBA body already. His skill set is developing quickly. Tell me about him.
Man, like you said, his like physical body. He has a 7'4" wingspan, and he's arguably a small forward right now. I mean, that's just unreal length. He has good athleticism. He's fluid. But his upside, me and someone else on Twitter was talking about that. He might have the highest upside in the draft.
He could really be the biggest boom or bust player.
Yeah, his upside is unreal. And defensively, that's where I'll look at. I mean, his defensive upside might be he might be a top 5 defender by the end of his rookie contract. You never know. I mean, his defensive upside is there. Shot making, it's coming along. It's definitely coming along for him. Hitting shots, from the mid-range, utilizing the mid-range shot. His 3-point shots slowly coming along. It was really rusty early on, but now it's starting to come along. I can't wait to watch him in the G League because he'll probably play some small ball power forward at times due to his size. He can play multiple positions. Can maybe a little more smoother with the ball, but I mean, like I said, he's developing at a fast rate right now. Yeah, and I think he'll be more of a project in the NBA early on. I think he'll be a little rusty to this, just like getting fit in and stuff, and finding his spot in the NBA.
The couple knocks I have on him is that his hips are very stiff. I'm not a fan of that. He I feel like he can get beat at the hip quite a bit from at least the quicker guards. Like you said, not a consistent shooter yet, and his handle is it can improve, but like you said, upside just absolutely phenomenal. I like his high release too. So once that consistency comes along, he's going to be really hard to guard on the perimeter, and the physicality, he can just finish through anybody. I like his projection if he pans out.
I agree. Yeah, it's more of kind of like betting on his potential with this guy. You're really betting on his defensive upside to come along because right now, I mean, he's an elite defender right now. He still has a lot of concerns defensively, or like as of right now, concerns, but like lapses defensively right now on like where to position his body and stuff like that. But I mean, the upside's certainly there, and that's what makes scouts drool over him.
All right, number 2, we've got Evan Mobley, 7-foot, incredibly versatile prospect. Insanely agile for his size, very light on his feet. I like his length. He's a tremendous shot blocker. He's got quick first and second jump. Tell me what you like about him.
Man, coming in, I didn't know he was that good, and laterally, like just guarding pick and rolls, I didn't expect him to come be that good. I mean, he's the best center at guarding the pick and rolls in this year's draft. I mean, that's what makes me fall in love mostly, his defensive versatility. I mean, he's probably the best. I don't know when the last time we've seen, hit the most versatile offensive center and the best shot blocker in one person. Like Joel Embiid in 2013. I mean, he was very versatile on the block, and we knew he was probably the best shot blocker in the draft. I don't know when's the last time. It's been that last time. Evan Mobley, I mean, he's versatile offensively. He's a good decision maker with the ball, can score on the block, can step out and hit a jumper, block shots at an elite level. I mean, he's so smart when it comes to timing and when to jump, when not to jump. Like you said, his second jump is very elite for a center at his size. He's 7 foot with a 7'6" wingspan. I mean, he can block shots out of his range sometimes. And I think he can play with some of the four at the next level now. After watching him, I think he can play some power forward. Physicality, he isn't the strongest center in the world. I think he can add some strength. Anthony Davis wasn't the strongest guy ever coming in. He was very slender. That's kind of a guy I look at when I look at Evan Mobley. I think Evan Mobley can put on some weight, kind of like what Anthony Davis. I mean, he's strong now. Coming in, he wasn't the most bulkiest guy. That's kind of look at. Maybe he could take him a little more threes. Sometimes the three's a little streaky, but I buy Evan Mobley's jump shot. I mean, good mechanics, proper. Nothing. Not too many concerns for me for his jumper.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you think about the Anthony Davis comparisons. A lot of people like to say that just because of his length and his shot blocking ability. What do you think about that overall comparison?
I like it coming out. Like right now, Anthony Davis, no, I don't like it. But coming out of college, I see it a lot. I really do.
Agreed.
Shot blocking ability is there. Slender frame, but can still move really well and fluid, like a small forward. It seems like really good at guarding the pick and roll. And just basketball IQ is so high for both of those players coming out. It's unreal for a guy at that age. Mobley doesn't try, like you see some bigs like going for every block, just trying to jump nonstop, which leads to fouls, and teams will pick up on it. Here's some pump picky and they're all foul.
Yeah.
The difference with Mobley is, I mean, he knows when to jump, when not to jump, and when just to contest. I mean, it's just unreal watching Mobley. That's why he's my second player right now, just because it's versatility for a big. I think this might be a hot take, but I think by the end of his rookie contract, I think he'll be a top 5 center in the league. I really like him much. He really can do it all on the court. He's a good decision maker. Like out of the pick and roll, he can screener, roll. Right when you get the ball, a little short roll pass, whatever it is, he's quick with it. He's really quick with it, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I think his potential is just, again, similar to Kaminga, is just sky high because of that versatility. And I think his floor is just so much higher than somebody like Kaminga's too.
Oh yeah,
because just his understanding of the game, he's disciplined. I really, really like Evan Mobley's projection, and he's a humble guy too, and he just the way he interacts with other people in the community, in interviews, even simply through Instagram. He has a lot of humility, and that speaks a lot to his character. And I think that's an underrated part of what goes into drafting somebody. But I would have no concerns about him off the court at all.
No, I would not either. There's absolutely zero concerns for him going like out off the court. Like, he won't do nothing.
Right.
Like, there's some young guys that are just like,
party, gotta watch him a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit of an ego. Yeah. Mobley is saying him about that. He's a great guy off the court.
All right, let's get to the number one prospect. I mean, obviously, I think I know I'm a stan for this kid, and I know I just think he's in a completely different league than anybody else in this class. And I don't know if you feel the same, but I feel like he's been the number one pick. I would have picked him number one last year. Cade Cunningham, I'll give you the floor for this one.
Man, I mean, the only weaknesses I see right now is maybe playing off-ball offense. But I mean, his numbers don't show it. There's a knock on his teammates or anything, but sometimes they're not the best shooters, and sometimes with lack of floor space and lack of shooters, you're not going to get those numbers when you're driving in. But at the NBA, I mean, if any of them watch like the AAU games or just any of his high school games, I mean, he was unreal, especially when he gets aggressive. When he gets aggressive, or you like tick him off to where he's like getting a little angry. I mean, it's scary. Yeah, I watched the TCU game the other day, and coming out of halftime, I mean, he just went off and exploded up. Just his ability. There was a big concern with his shot coming into college. Everyone was concerned with that, but he has shown the ability to knock down threes. He's shooting at a 40% rate, which I was not expecting.
Just crazy.
I was like, if he's shooting at 40%, what do you do? I mean, he's an elite playmaker. He can finish at the rim. Athletically, he isn't gifted. He's not a run and jump athlete. He doesn't have the best burst, but I mean, he has the skill and the handle to always find a way to get open, to always find to look at the rim. He can hit step back threes. He's only shooting in the mid-20s right now from 3 and catch-shoot situations, so maybe he can improve a little bit upon there, playing off-ball more. But, I mean, just because of how gifted he is on the ball and how high his IQ is, I think he'll develop off-ball shot, catch-shoot shots.
Yeah, and he's just a phenomenal floor general. He sees over the defense. He can make any pass in the book with either hand. He's physical, like you said, improving shooter. Like out of high school, I didn't think he was going to be a good shooter. I thought, okay, if he shoots 31%, 32%, that's pretty good. Yeah. And he's shooting 40, like clip 40. That's insane. I love his pace. Like you said, he's not the most explosive, so he knows his whole life he's had to play at different paces to kind of throw guys off. So that's there. I mean, he's a total package in my opinion. The one knock I have on him is maybe shot creating on the perimeter. Could be a little bit more creative. He likes just to do a 1-pound dribble and then step back. And I mean, it works, but that's going to get keyed on a lot. But like other than that, it's just nitpicking. There's not very much I can say.
Is. Like you said, last year I would have took him number 1. 2019 of the Zion class, you arguably could have even had him in the competition for number 1. I mean, he's just like you said, I was expecting like maybe if he shoots like 30%, I still have him as number 1 pick. Anything low 30, I'd be a little concerned. But I mean, he was like, all right, I'm just shoot 40%. I was like, okay. And he's shooting what 84% from the free, 85% from the free throw line, which is just shows like his shooting is there. I mean, his form isn't even bad though. Like he's showing good mechanics on his shot, proper elbow tucked. I mean, his mechanics don't look bad at all. I think when he comes in the NBA, I mean, he's just going to be the franchise guy, franchise piece right away. He's going to be the first option on the championship team. I think he'll be a top 15 player, top 10 player in the NBA one day. Like currently in the league one day. He's just so talented. Like you said, though, shot creation ability. I mean, he has sometimes he'll like do the same, like, 1-pound step back. And that, I mean, it's worked for him so far. But like, when you have like Kawhi Leonard or there's some good like Drew Holiday on them, they're going to key on that. But someone I compare him to is Luka Doncic. I think they move the same. I think their playmaking ability the same. Luka's shot creation ability might be a little better. Defensively too, I haven't even touched on that. Let me get on Cade's defense. I mean, his defensive versatility is elite. He competes defensively. He can play the 1 through 4. He can switch multiple positions defensively. I think that goes under talked a little bit. People don't talk about that enough for Cade. I think
his off ball's good too.
Yep, he really knows where to rotate, where to be. I could put a whole 5-minute montage already, or probably 10-minute montage of him just doing great defensive plays. He's really good on both sides of the floor, and he's easily the number 1 pick in this year's draft. And I don't see it changing at all. No,
I guess one more smaller nitpick thing is like you said, like when you tick him off is when he's at his best. If he can play like that all the time,
sometimes you don't have he doesn't always have that go-to mentality.
Right,
he doesn't have that aggressiveness. Sometimes scoring when to actually take over. Sometimes it doesn't really kick in for him. That was a little bit of a Ben Simmons knock too. Sometimes Ben Simmons wasn't aggressive. Even now, sometimes he is aggressive to score the ball when they need him to. But I think Cade will get that down at the next level. At least I imagine he will.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to another YouTube video. Your support means the world as always. If you made it this far, that's honestly it means so much to me because these videos are long and they take a good amount of time to make. But I appreciate it if you made it this far. And if you're new here, or maybe you stick around just for this point, which would be phenomenal. But at the end of every video, I do a Bible verse, and today we've got Romans 1:21. It says, "For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him, but their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened." In this verse, Paul writes that believing and knowing God exists is not enough to enter into heaven. It's our job to glorify and show God's love through our lives. If we don't truly believe he is for us and we don't truly believe he has saved us, we will not live with him. God wants you to know him personally. Thank you, everyone, like I said, for watching this video. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your support, and God bless.